Hey Hellgear, where's the Penguin deck update? Hey Hellgear, you said you would post an update to the Penguin deck before Burst of Destiny. Yo, Hellgear, you've been avoiding your Goblet of Supreme Krump. What's up, man? You guys already know it's Penguin deck profile time. I'm juiced for this deck, you guys. Not just because Penguin reprints have been announced in the upcoming OTS, but as many of you guys are already juiced, 4 cards, not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 new cards are coming to upgrade this deck in Burst of Destiny. So I'm giving you guys a pre-Burst of Destiny build to test while you wait for the Halloween season. So you know the drill by now. Like, sub, and bell for more. And let's count the cards. And remember to leave your critiques in the comments section below. As always, we begin with 3 Flying Penguin. This is our unexpected die target. It's one of our 2 level 4 water monsters. And you guys already know when you get 2 level 4 water monsters, we're putting sharks in the water. Next up, 3 copies of Glacial Beast Polar Penguin. This guy has 2 once per turn effects. Next, but you can only use 1 of them in a turn. When special summon, it can bounce one of your opponent's monsters, or if it's destroyed by battle or card effect, bounce one of your opponent's cards. Very useful card, and soon won't be the only tuner in your deck. 3 copies of the Great Emperor Penguin getting reprinted in the next OTS because it was expensive for a while. Tribute this bad boy to special summon up to 2 different penguin monsters from your deck. Don't worry, there are ways to play with this guy. 1 Penguin Torpedo. I don't bring this guy out much, but he's clutch when he comes out. Can attack your opponent directly, but at the end of the damage step, it blows up. Such is life for torpedoes. When it does successfully attack directly, you can take one of your opponent's level 6 or lower monsters for the turn. They can't attack and their effects are negated, so this gives you some link fodder to link away into. Next up, 3 copies of the Cold and Savior No Penguin. We love this guy. It's our main form of disruption. Once per turn, you can special summon this card from the graveyard when one of your penguin monsters' effects activates. This is not an optional effect. If you activate a penguin effect and this guy's in the graveyard, it is a mandatory chain link too. And when any cards are bounced by the effect of another penguin card, they are banished instead. Gotta love the Cold and Savior. Speaking of bouncing cards, 2 Penguin Soldier also getting its 12th reprint in the OTS. Target up to 2 monsters and bounce them. That's them. But remember, Penguin Soldier is a flip effect. Flying Penguin isn't the only level 4 water penguin. Nightmare Penguin is the other. The 200 attack point boost is no big deal, especially because this guy has 1800 in the back, but when flipped, he can bounce a card your opponent controls. And that's also good for our Cold and Savior No Penguin. I run 2 Puny Penguins. This is a little bit for our graveyard recursion. After it's been flipped face up and sent to the graveyard, you can get another penguin back. Either in face up attack or face down defense position. We will always give the shout out to Mr. M. Cole 40 for teaching us about True King Barastos the Fathomer as a True King engine. but I also add Lithozogen the Disaster to this engine. Anyway, back to Barastos the Fathomer. You contribute 2 cards from your hand or face of field, including a water monster. And if both of the cards, to special summon this card, you don't normal summon it. And if both of the cards you use to special summon this are water monsters, you can target up to 2 spells and traps in your opponent's graveyard or backfield and banish them. And of course, all the true kings share the effect of when they are destroyed by battle or card effect, you can pull another true king from your deck and special summon it of a different attribute. So the play is when Barastos gets struck and sent to the graveyard, you pull Lithozogen. When Lithozogen gets struck or judgmented, that goes to the graveyard, you pull the second Barastos. Gotta love those sweet, sweet plays. Spell game, you guys. We all know how Call by the Grave works. We all know what we're using this for. I don't need to explain that to you. Foolish Burial will always be one. This helps us get our Cold and Savior No Penguin into the graveyard. 2 copies of Water Hazard. This is our enabler, and it's one of the ways you can get your Great Emperor Penguin out easy. Once per turn, if you control no monsters, special summon a level 4 or lower water monster from your hand. You can essentially special summon one of your lower level monsters like Flying Penguin out. Also, I forgot to mention this, if you can't find Flying Penguin because he's hard to get, and light plays are going for $12 a copy, Bolt Penguin works just as fine for your unexpected die target. Anyway, you can special summon out your normal penguin or another different penguin, then tribute summon your Great Emperor Penguin. Then you can tribute the Great Emperor Penguin to pull 2 other penguins out, and your play is off to the races. Like I said, Flying Penguin, or if you can't afford him, Bolt Penguin, is your unexpected die target, and I run 2 of them in this deck. We are not playing Rescue Rabbit. You do not play Rescue Rabbit. 2 copies of Book of Moon. This can flip monsters face down, including your own penguins. It's actually a really nice 150 IQ strat to flip one of your penguins face down, like Nightmare Penguin or Penguin Soldier, when your opponents swing at them. So you can flip them up and use their effects, since they aren't once per turn. For the budget duelists, 2 copies of Moray of Greed. This is our draw spell. If you can afford it, switch them with your pot of choice. Now we get into our revival engine. 1 Monster Reborn, 1 Surface, and 1 Burst Rebirth. You guys know how Monster Reborn works. Surface lets you target a level 3 or lower aqua monster, fish, or sea serpent monster, and special summon to your field in face-up defense position. We don't run sea serpents or well, we don't run level 4 sea serpents or fish, and 98% of your monsters are aqua anyway. Burst Rebirth is another nice deal. You can special summon a monster from your graveyard face down at the cost of 2,000 life points. This can get you that sweet, sweet puny penguin effect if it's in the graveyard. Burst Rebirth starts our trap game, and we're going with the small paleo engine, 2 Hallucigenia, 2 Dynamicious. We all know how good Dynamicious is. Hallucigenia cuts the attack of one of your monsters, well, that you might face in half. So if your opponent swings into your penguins, not many of them are strong, you can flip this trap and cut them down to size. Also, you can use these alongside a penguin soldier to manually summon a particular water monster in the extra deck. Last trap in the deck, 2 copies of Junk Sleep. If your opponent normal or special summons monsters, you can change all face down defense position monsters you control face up. This is a good way to manipulate your flip effects, folks. During the end phase, you can change all your face up monsters flip to face down. So again, Junk Sleep is really good for manipulating your flip effect monsters like Penguin, Soldier, and Nightmare. And whoa, work that bouncing out. Just remember to flip no Penguin up first when you activate Junk Sleep. Then go into Soldier. That way you can get the banishing bounces off. That wraps up the main deck, so let's get into the extra deck. And I gotta talk about the Brave Boys. 3 of the new 4 cards revolve around the monsters that make up this synchro. On Synchro Summon, you can special summon one of your Penguin monsters to your field face down. Don't worry, Penguin Brave protects your face down monsters from card effects. And at quick effect speed, when your opponent activates a monster effect, you can flip up one of your face down water monsters. Very good Allegiant boss of the extra deck for the archetype. For whatever reason, Penguin duelists are running Desert Locusts. If you know why they are running Desert Locusts, tell me in the comment section below. This card rarely comes up for me. On Synchro Summon, the player whose turn it is pitches a card. I guess that's one reason why, to get our Golden Savior into the graveyard. And then, once per chain, during your opponent's turn, as a quickie after this effect resolves, Synchro Summon. Okay, so it gets our Golden Savior into the grave. No big deal. Next up, we run 1 Gungnir, Dragon of the Ice Barrier. Once per turn, you can discard up to 2 cards from your hand to the graveyard and blast the same number of cards your opponent controls. This is those good hits, because we like to hit our opponent. And if you want to go up another level, Glacial Dragon does the exact same thing. Blasting the same number of cards as water materials used for its Synchro Summon. You can target a water monster in your graveyard and special summon it when it's sent to the graveyard, but its effects are negated, and each of its effects are once per turn. If you're not into the mood of blasting cards at level 8, Dragite is a good card to use. Since every monster in your deck is water, you'll have no problems getting your once per turn negate. The excavation really doesn't matter. Trishul. You gotta love Trish in this deck. For the Xyz monsters, I'm starting out with something interesting. Thank you, King's Court, for giving us a copy of number 49, Fortune Tune. Cannot be destroyed by, it can't be targeted, by card effects. And if it would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can detach a material to keep it around. Once per turn, when it's sent to the graveyard, target 2 level 3 monsters in your graveyard. Shuffle them into your deck, and if you do, you return Fortune Tune to your extra deck. So even when it's removed and placed into the graveyard, you'll get not only your resources back, but a monster in your extra deck as well. Abyss Dweller, we all know how good Abyss Dweller is. The Shark and Toad combo. In the Penguin deck, these two guys on your field and back row can give you some W's. I've said it before, Penguins aren't too strong, so Miss Starboy gives them a boost and could even recur one of them when it goes off to the graveyard. Coral Anemone is a good extender in this deck, also a nice water linked option if you don't want to go into Miss Starboy. And then the small Nightmare Engine of Phoenix and Unicorn to wrap up the extra deck. There you go, duelists. This is the Penguin deck profile before Burst of Destiny. And I will be updating this deck again once I get the Burst of Destiny Penguin cards. So, leave your critiques in the comment section below. Remember to like, sub, and bell. But for now, I take my cards to the box because I'm done. Bye-bye, everybody.